All right, we are live. Good morning, Barca fans. It is time to wake up in Barca, shake out the cobwebs, get your caffeinated beverages ready. We are going to talk about the big win over Getafe. Barcelona getting 7 points out of their first 9. Not too shabby, but we still have some room for improvement. We got some players that we got to talk about that are not quite stepping up in the way that they should. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about any potential transfers that might happen in the next 24, 36 hours, however many hours are left in this transfer window. We'll talk about all that and more coming up on today's show. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuning in to the undefeated Mustache John. All right, good morning, folks. As I said, Barcelona big 2-1 win over Getafe yesterday. So we're going to start off taking a look at the results from that match, maybe talk a little bit about player ratings. We can do all that jazz as we jump in here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you folks. So it was a good match for Barcelona. Lots of possession. Scored early, so you can see there Sergio Roberto scored in the second minute. It was a clever little build-up. Frankie de Jong, good ball into Memphis. Memphis plays it over to Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba crosses it in. Near post, Braithwaite does a little dummy. Tried to do a little back heel flick. He missed it, but the dummy worked out. And we got the goal. Sergio Roberto crashing the net. From there, lots of possession for Barcelona, as I mentioned. I believe we're going to have over 60. Yes, 67% possession for Barcelona. In the first half, it was upwards of 75, 80% at times, particularly early on in those first few minutes. So for us to come away with only 3 shots on target with 67% possession, not great. Not so great. Back to the goals. Sandro Ramirez tied it up for Getafe. It was against the run of play, but it was a good buildup. We gave the ball away in the defensive third. They played a little tiki-taka, couple of passes here and there, and then Sandro just quick trigger. No real setup for it. No, didn't take a touch to set up his shot. One-timer, beats Ter Stegen near post. I don't think he was expecting it. You could say maybe he was a little bit rusty. First match back coming from injury, but it was more unexpected than anything else. And then as you see Levi getting upset in the chat, reason being, I won't repeat his language because it's early on in the show, but reason why Barcelona fans are upset at Sandro is because he celebrated that goal. Traditionally, when you are facing a club that you've played for before, not just someone, let alone that, hang on, let me set this up. Let alone somebody that is your what's the term I'm looking for? His first club, I guess, the club that developed him, his development club. That's what I'm looking for. It's insulting, you know what I mean? Because there's the argument to be made. There's the argument to be made that that Sandro wouldn't be where he is without Barcelona, without that training. So for him to go and do that. But on the other side, if I'm Sandro and Barcelona says, hey, Sandro, you're not good enough to play for this club. Hey, Sandro, we don't need you. Hey, Sandro, go elsewhere. You're out. And then I score on that club. Maybe I'm thumbing my nose up at him. Maybe. That's also within my personality. So as a Barcelona supporter, of course, screw Sandro. We can all agree to that. But human to human, I can kind of relate. Anyway, Levi, good morning to you, sir. Let's play. How you been? And Mandox, good morning. What's up? Did I get max watch time? So it doesn't tell me how much watch time I get on the ads. I got to look into how that works more. Don't feel pressured to watch the ads, folks. If you want to skip past the ads, then by all means, skip past the ads. It's about hanging out. You know what I mean? The ads are there. We'll trickle in some dollars here and there, throw that towards growing the channel. But that's not what we're here to do. We are here to have some conversations and whatnot. So Levi, don't go. It was not that bad. It was not that bad. stats wise, yes, they had more shots. They had one more shot than us, but not on target. Second half, the last like 15 minutes or so, we were basically Swiss cheese through the midfield. We could not plug anything in terms of stopping counterattacks. And I think that's maybe, I've been trying to think of what I can do like as a weekly upload on this channel, and maybe a tactical breakdown of the goals from the matches. Maybe we can do a little bit of that, because I'm tired of everybody blaming our defense, the back line, Langley in particular, for goals that are given up, when it is very obvious to me, and I think people who know the game, who know the tactics, I think it's very obvious that it comes from the midfield. The end result is people running at the back line and goals being scored, but you have to take preventative measures. Here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. I don't know if this will land for some of you or not. It probably won't. But in jiu-jitsu, a lot of people ask questions around like how to escape a submission. Oh, how do I get out of this particular chokehold? How do I get out of this armbar? And sort of a cliche but very true response that you'll hear from a lot of professors is, well, don't get into it. Don't get caught in that choke. How do I defend that choke? Well, don't let them get you in it. How do I defend an armbar? Well, don't get caught in an armbar, right? So when you say, how do we get our back line to defend better? Well, don't put them in a position where they have more attackers running at them consistently. How about that? How about that one, folks? So again, I've been beating a dead horse here, talking about how we need fresh legs in the midfield, but it's not going to happen. There are some reports. I want to keep talking about this game. There are some reports of maybe a potential change or two still left to be made at Barcelona, and who knows if that opens up a window for us. We'll talk about that next. We shall see. Anyway, Puyol and OG are doing well. They are starting their morning with their mom right now. Mandox says, I want to support my favorite YouTuber. I'll watch 1 hour ad if I have to. Mandox, I love you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that support, of course. Griezmann was poor. Levi, I am with you on that. I am definitely with you on that. I think Griezmann has disappeared this season. 3 matches in, and Griezmann has done nothing. Every time Griezmann was on the ball, whether he received it, whether he tracked it down, he quickly looked for a 5-yard pass, usually to a defender. So with the difference is when Memphis gets the ball, Memphis takes on that responsibility. He says, I've got the ball. I'm the attacking player here. I'm the playmaker. I'm going to create now that I have the ball at my feet. Griezmann goes, well, I've got the ball at my feet. I think maybe I'll turn and maybe I'll do a little shimmy. And then, oh, look, there's Emerson. I'll just give it to Emerson. Oh, look, there's Serginho Dest. I'll just give it to Serginho. Oh, I can drop it back to center back Langley. Nice little 5-yard pass. I'll do that. What are you doing out there, Griezmann? You know what I mean? He's not running at defenders. He's not looking to turn and create space and hoping that somebody runs past him. There's nothing happening with Griezmann whatsoever. I was coming in with a clean slate, fresh start for Antoine Griezmann. Pulling for him, rooting for him. This was his opportunity. The last 2 years, he's just like, oh, nobody loves me at Barcelona. They all play to Messi instead of playing it to me. Well, Messi left. This is your opportunity to step up, and you're not. You see what Memphis is doing? Do that. When the ball comes to your feet, Griezmann, do something creative with it. Don't just make a null pass to a midfielder or the back line. Turn, run at the defender. Dribble around a little bit. Draw a second defender. Do something, my man. Not liking what I'm seeing from Griezmann. I think when Ansu Fati comes back, looking at the starting lineup on paper, you would say, well, Goatweight obviously is the first one to come out of that starting front 3. But when Ansu comes back, it could be Griezmann. It very well could be Griezmann. Our front 3 might end up being Memphis, Ansu, and Aguero. That's very possible. That's entirely possible. I'm with you on that one again, Levi. I do think that Sergio Roberto played well. Let's look at these stats again. I do think Sergio Roberto played well. We'll go over the lineups here. Sergio Roberto, because he got to play the midfield too. A rare chance for Sergio Roberto to not have to be at the right back position. Mr. Hustle, good morning to you, sir. Didn't mean to skip over there. Luke, you as well, good morning. And Messi fan, hello, hello. Greasy was better at defending than attacking. I'll give you that. I will definitely give you that one. Starts bad, ends good. I don't know about that ending good. I don't know what you saw in the match that makes you think it was good. Fati, Memphis, Dembele, also very strong possibility. The reason why I went Aguero over Dembele is because of Dembele's tendencies towards injuries. But then again, so Aguero has that same problem, so maybe it is. I don't know. I'm very excited for Fati and Memphis to get some time together. I think Fati's just a couple weeks away from actually playing. Let's shoot some player ratings here. Ter Stegen, despite taking a knee to the head and maybe should have come off at halftime, he played the full match, so it's good to see him back. He definitely should have stopped that first shot. He did not read that well. Got beat near post. So for that, I'm going to have to give you a 6 out of 10 Ter Stegen. Got to shut that down. Araujo and Langley, I'll rate together. I thought they did quite well. I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. Nothing special, nothing spectacular. I know some of you are going to blame them for the goal that was given up, but I think that was more in the midfield, not closing down that space, and Ter Stegen not covering his near post. Emerson, I'm going to give a 4 out of 10. He did not do anything outstanding whatsoever. Ended up getting substituted on for Dest, who also didn't do much. But Emerson, first start of the season, 4 out of 10. Jordi Alba played pretty well, actually. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Gets that assist on the first goal to Sergio Roberto. Frankie de Jong, good passing, strong defense, but I have high expectations. So some of these are graded with a curve. I have high expectations for Frankie de Jong. He gets a 7 out of 10. Sergio Busquets, 6 out of 10. Love him to death. Didn't do anything special. There were several occurrences, and I'm going to go back and watch highlights because I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do tactical breakdowns of the Barcelona goals and some of the counterattacks that start in the midfield just to prove my point. Busquets, 5 out of 10. Sergio Roberto, 8 out of 10. I liked what I saw there. Levi already mentioned in the chat that he had a good match. And for me, having him back in the midfield is a huge positive. It's like having a new signing. He was loyal enough to the club to sacrifice his more natural position in the midfield and play right back for the last 5 or 6 years, basically ever since Dani Alves left. And so the fact that Roberto is back in the midfield, and it's looking, well, for right now, he's our 4th midfielder, right? If Pedri's out, Roberto's in. I think that maybe opens up the possibility of having De Jong, Roberto, and Pedri. Speaking of midfield, something that I'm very disappointed in is that we did not see Coutinho, and I don't understand why. He was there. The game was calling out for a little bit more offense from Barcelona. So, I don't know. Why do you guys think we didn't see Coutinho? Is it because he wasn't match fit? Is it because... I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But why put him in the lineup if he's not match fit? You know what I mean? We ended up putting on Nico and Gavi, which is fine. I think I actually really appreciate Nico's composure. I think he's going to be one for the future. Gavi, I am, after seeing him for 2 matches now, I'm less impressed by Gavi so far. Not writing off any of these youngsters by any means, but disappointed that I didn't see Coutinho in there. And I want to see him in the next match. I would love to see a Coutinho start with Frankie de Jong, Coutinho, and then whatever. You want to put Sergio Busquets as the defensive mid, go for it. But I want to see Coutinho, de Jong, and Memphis and how they all work together. That gets us to our front 3. Braithwaite had a pretty quiet match. I don't know if he got any shots on goal even. Ended up getting substituted off for, who was it? Either Gavi or Nico. I forget. I'm going to give Braithwaite a 6 out of 10. Griezmann, 4 out of 10. I could go for a 3. He gets a 4 just because he put in some good defensive efforts. But not a fan of Griezmann right now. And his lack of creativity, his lack of innovation on the ball. Cules, good morning, sir. How we doing? Which would be an interesting setup here. Let's see. What are we talking about? Pisoizo, Gavi, Demir, Fati, Memphis. Nah, I'm not a fan of that. I need to see more from Demir. Coming off the bench last week, he looked overwhelmed. He looked like he was out of place. He looked like he was a deer in headlights, if you guys know what that expression is. So not really sold on Demir, not really sold on Gavi yet. It's not even that he's looking old, Cules, is that he's looking bored. You know what I mean? Like I said it earlier. He gets the ball, and his first instinct is to just do a square pass to the midfield, drop it back to a center back, or maybe do an overlapping run from Emerson or Dest. As opposed to Memphis, who gets the ball and is like, cool, I'm going to turn. First instinct is, do I have a shot on goal? Second instinct is, can I create a shot on goal? Third instinct is, can I create an opportunity to get someone else in on goal? That it's a different mindset. It has nothing to do with his body, right? There's no spark in Griezmann. It's like he's a non-player character right now. I just watched Free Guy, the new Ryan Reynolds movie, so I'm going to be making references to that. But essentially, Griezmann is like a non-player character right now. It's like we're playing FIFA and everyone's controlling one of these guys except Griezmann is the AI. And every time it goes to Griezmann, somebody hits the button to automatically pass it to themselves. That's what it's like watching Griezmann right now. Mr. Hustle, call this a podcast then. What is the difference between a podcast and a YouTube show? I guess that would be the question. If a podcast is just the audio version of what I'm doing here, then I guess I'll leave that up to somebody else. If somebody wants to rip this audio and make a podcast out of it, be my guest. I don't think many people are going to be listening, to be honest. But I do want to start doing some tactical breakdowns. I was sitting there thinking yesterday, what type of video could I do once a week that people will go back and watch? And I think a tactical analysis, if I do weekly breakdowns of the matches, yes, it becomes less relevant as we go away from the match results, but you might enjoy the tactic side of it anyway. There might be something for you to learn from, whether the match was a year ago or last week. So maybe it'll be a little bit more evergreen for the channel. So we will see. We will see there. Overall, takeaways from the match, still loving Memphis. Loving everything that Memphis is doing. Loving Frankie de Jong. I'm optimistic about Clement Lenglet right now. I thought he had an excellent match. There were several times where he stepped up and shut down those counterattacks early. I'm concerned about our right back position. Both Emerson and Dest not really having the impact that you would want them to have. There's certainly no Dani Alves, and I'm not saying that that's the bar, that that's the expectation, but they are far from it, is what I'll say. So not too happy about that. Let's get caught up on the chat here. Did I get Puyol a Puyol jersey yet? No, he's not a huge fan of wearing shirts, so I will probably not be buying him a jersey. Tapai is our attacking leader. We gotta start calling him Memphis, friends. He prefers to be called Memphis. I know I do it all the time because it's a habit, but it has something to do with his Depay is his father's last name, and he doesn't have a good relationship with his father, so he would rather not. Why do I not have a hair tie? He'd rather not honor his father by using the name Depay, so he actually prefers Memphis. So we gotta start going with Memphis, my friends. Yes, that's what we're jumping into. Next, Vipula, is any last remaining hopes of transfers here. Well, hang on first. Before we do that, let's first look at the table because, folks, we are technically sitting in fourth, and that is only due to goal differential right now. Real Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia, Barca, Atletico, and Mallorca all tied up on 7 points. The separators right now is that goal differential. Mallorca, Madrid with 2, Barcelona with the +3, Valencia, Sevilla, Madrid all with the +4. It's going to be a tight season this year. Last year we had Atletico, Real, and Barcelona in the final weeks all fighting for the title. lower on that radar. I believe it was Villarreal. I could be wrong. I think it was Villarreal trying to sneak in there for a title contention, but to no avail. I think there's going to be 5 or 6 teams going for it this year. Unless Mbappe goes to Real Madrid have a very mediocre squad this year. We have defensive problems in terms of keeping clean sheets, so we're going to be dropping points. So this year, as exciting as last year was, I think there is going to be more of the same, if not a more exciting finish coming up for this year. Mr. Hustle is looking for Garcia and Araujo. What about Mingueza? We just giving up on Mingueza right now? For me, I'm happy with what I've seen from Garcia, but I think my starting center backs are going to be, and Langley too. You know, listen, right now my starting center backs are PK and Araujo. All right. Come next year, it's going to be Araujo and either Langley or Mingueza for me. I'm not sold on Garcia, and some of it is his physicality. Some of it is because he's quite small. I like the idea of having big center backs. Like Chelsea right now have Rudiger and what's his name? Chalaba, I think is his name. 2 huge, just big, burling defenders. That's what we need to see at Barcelona. I know, listen, hypocritical. Carles Puyol was not the biggest defender in the world, but he wasn't short. You know what I mean? Eric Garcia is a small dude. I'm not saying he's not class, but I still think Langley, Mingueza, they're going to give him a challenge for that starting spot. That's for sure. It is not a given by any means. Let's see what else here. Yesterday's best goal, Dutch player assisting a Dutch player. Sure, it was good. Sevilla could win the league potentially. They're gonna be in contention this year. Sean, good morning to you, sir. What else we got? Was Pirlo big? Pirlo was not a defender, my dude. What are you talking about? I think who you're trying to bring up is Fabio Cannavaro. He was the Ballon d'Or winner in, 2006, 2005, 2006, something like that. One of the few defenders to win it. So that's like one of the exceptions to the rule. Fabio Cannavaro, quite stout, but still a tenacious defender. Garcia could play CDM. I think that's a possibility. But again, I'm not in favor of taking players out of their more natural positions and then putting them somewhere just to fill a hole, like what we were doing with Sergio Roberto at the right back. Everybody's seeing now, Sergio Roberto is a far better player than what we've been seeing with him at right back. Everyone's like, oh, Roberto out, Roberto out. You get out. Put Roberto in the midfield and then come talk to me. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying, friends. What else? What else? Oh, transfers. Transfers, my friends. We're going to talk about transfers. Well, yeah, we should put Coutinho in the midfield. He is a midfielder. A lot of Barcelona fans don't realize that. Like, if you didn't watch him play at Liverpool and we brought him on for Barcelona, everyone's only seen him play at that left wing position. That's not his natural position. As a midfielder, he will drift out to that left wing, but you see the same thing from Frankie de Jong and other attacking midfield players that are quite similar. You give Coutinho that freedom in the midfield to join the attack. You don't put him up there as a winger. That's not what you want to do. Not what we're looking for. All right, let's jump into some transfer rumors. We're going to start with Pjanic because reports are saying that he is now willing to take a salary cut to get to Juventus. Here we go. Barcelona ready to let Pjanic leave for Juventus. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, Barca are willing to pay 50% of the Bosnian salary to facilitate his departure to Juventus, who are confident in his return. Let's go. Get him off the books. I was shocked to even see him in the lineup yesterday, but it's because we have so many injuries. It's ridiculous. Ovi, good morning. Roberto was good yesterday. I agree. Roberto, icon in the midfield. He fractured his rib, though, and Braithwaite is also injured. Vipula, who are you talking about? We were looking really underconfident yesterday. Lots of back passes as well. I agree. Everyone but Memphis was basically looking to just, play a null or a negative pass. I feel, I guess, maybe 10% sorry for Pjanic. I think had he been able to secure a move earlier, he wouldn't have been in this position. I think you never want to be in a position where it's very obvious that the club does not want you and you're just hanging around. I think as soon as the player doesn't want to be at the club and or the club doesn't want to have the player there, I think you got to part ways. Oh, Roberto fractured his rib. Great. Fantastic. Roberto with the rib injury. Can't wait to be down another midfielder for a while. Super excited about it. Hip, hip, hooray. Yeah, praise be, we're coming up to an international break. Brother said if any player leaves, Ansu gets that player's number. We'll see. So player numbers are not set until, I think it's when they come back from the international break. It's in September, but if they don't play again until after the international break, they might have that much time. So what I'm thinking is that Coutinho is going to keep his 14. Raymond I is going to have 17. And then Ansu Fati is going to have the number 10. That's what I'm thinking for this one. We shall see. And then who knows? Pedri could take the number 8. If Pjanic leaves, Pedri could take number 8. But to your point, it's not whoever leaves and then Ansu gets that number, because Ansu wouldn't be wearing number 8 if Pjanic leaves. And he wouldn't be wearing number 23 if Umtiti leaves. You know what I'm saying? So, to wrap this one up, it's looking like Barcelona are going to move on from Pjanic. They're going to get him back to Juventus, and we're going to be paying half of his wages. Insane. But that's what we're going with. That's the news on Pjanic. What's happening with Moriba? As I believe it was Vipula mentioned, he is looking like he's going to switch over to Leipzig. Let's see, 12 hours ago, 1 hour ago, Elash Moriba agrees personal terms with Leipzig. Let's go. Leipzig are reportedly inching closer to securing the services of Elash Moriba, having agreed personal terms with the Barcelona midfielder. I love it. According to reputed Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano, who we all know and love on this channel, Elash Moriba is one step closer to leaving Barcelona before the summer window slams shut. Blah, 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 blah. Yada, yada, yada. It's a real shame for the player who had shown a lot of promise upon breaking into Ronald Koeman's squad last season. Sure, there was a lot of promise, and then he decided to be a little baby and not sign a contract in the middle of a financial crisis. He's asking for more money at a time when all the players at the club are being asked, hey, do you mind deferring your wages? Do you mind taking a salary cut? Hey, we might have to actually eliminate some of you and cancel your contracts. Elijah's like, oh, I want more money. Oh, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. What now remains to be seen is if Red Bull Leipzig can do anything to get closer to Barcelona's valuation of the 18-year-old. For now, Moriba appears to set to make his way out of Camp Nou this summer, with a switch to Bundesliga being highly likely. Good. Get him out of here. It's looking like Barcelona are demanding 20 million. So if Leipzig want to pay that money, let's do it. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, folks. What is this? You get out of here. All right, so that could be good. If Pjanic leaves, even if we're paying half of his salary, fine. It opens up a spot, opens up a kit number. If Elayish leaves, good. It gets a potential cancer out of the club. It gets someone who's clearly very selfish out of the club. And maybe that money gets us a little bit closer to bringing somebody our way. I don't know. If we get 20 million, you know where I'm going with this, you guys. If we get 20 million for Elayish and we're looking to bolster our midfield, you know who's available and is on the market and I believe would cost us around 20 million? You know where I'm going with this. Who's going to say it in the chat before I do? Wesson McKennie, my friends, at Juventus, just had a birthday on Sunday. He played, he got a start, I should say. Came off, I believe, at halftime. Might have been due to injury. I was flipping back and forth between a few things. He took a collision to the face, a little head-to-head collision there, so he came off at halftime. But if Barcelona get rid of Pjanic and they get rid of Moriba, they have that space in the salary cap, and they have that $20 million for Moriba going to Leipzig. Could it be that it's written in the stars, that I've spoken it into existence, that Weston McKennie could come to Barcelona? It's not completely out of the question. I'm not saying that it's plausible, but at this point, I am willing to say that it is possible, my friends. I think it's very possible. We shall see. You know I had to leave you with that. We're not going to go an episode in a transfer window without talking about how we need Weston McKennie. And I know some of you are just like, oh, well, it's because you're American and you just love him because he's American and he played blah, 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 blah. Wrong. It's because he is the perfect fit for Barcelona and because he's an American and I love him. So first things first, he's the perfect balance for De Jong and Pedri. Name me a better midfielder that would balance out Barcelona. De Jong, McKennie, Pedri. Let's go. I want it. I want that in my life. Okay. That's where we're going to end it, my friends. I appreciate you starting your day with me. Vipula, Cules, Levi, Sean, Mr. Hustle. Who am I missing? Let's Play, Ovi, Messi, of course, 669, Jason. Everybody that participated in the chat today, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you being part of the conversation. We're going to get going here. Up next on the channel, I'm still brainstorming. If you got ideas on a once a week upload that I can do, I'm thinking it's either going to be, I'm trying to not do just like, oh, here's the weekly news roundup, because then the video is going to end up looking exactly like Talk FCB. So I'm trying to avoid going, all right, I'll make Talk FCB videos basically, where you just have images on the screen with headlines flashing across and my voiceover, whatever. I could do that. I could do tactical breakdowns, or I could do like more historical stuff, which I tried to save in the Eto video that nobody seemed to appreciate. That's still up on the channel if somebody wants to go back and watch it. So we'll see. If I were to go down the route of either doing tactical breakdowns of the matches or do news wrap-ups very similar to Talk FCB, which of those two would you rather see? Let me know in the chat. Let me know down in the comments if you're watching this on replay. But I'm going to get going here, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I want to thank you for starting your day with me. I want to thank you all for coming in and watching Wake Up in Barca. We're going to be here live again Wednesday morning, same time, same place, 7 a.m., right here on the Undefeated channel. My friends, thank you so much for tuning in and taking a ride. I'll see y'all next time. Mwah.